I don't even know what we talk. I don't even know. I don't even know what we're talking about today. I don't even know what I don't know what's happening. I know it's a Saturday. I know we woke up. I know the day is new and bright. Shit is going on in the world. Girl, did you hear that they starting a war?
Who?
I think US started a war with Iran today. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Are we live?
Hello, we're live. Hi,
Oh,
everyone.
my bad. My bad.
Welcome to another wonderful Shared Saturday with the Unfiltered Limin podcast. I'm B, the Hasten Sensation.
And I am L, the Dominica Diva.
Thank you for joining us for another wonderful Saturday. Yeah, we're here. It's a beautiful day. There's a lot, like Lisa said, happening in the world. So we just clicked on the button. Again, disclaimer, the thoughts in the
Views.
conversations that we have on this podcast is our own experiences. We throw in things that we've learned, things that we talk about in our friends group, family group. This is our own personal perspective. This is not facts. This is not, unless we are giving you resources for you to do your own research. Again, these are just our perspective, our experiences. What's happening in the world around us. So, yeah, don't come for us. All positivity. And again, thank you for supporting us. Yeah. So, Lisa, I know it's a lot going on.
It's too much.
Yeah, the
It's too
world.
much sometimes. It's too much sometimes, but
Yeah,
here
yeah,
we are. We got life. We gotta
yeah,
live
we
another
do.
day.
Yeah. So on Shared Saturdays, we just basically wrap up our week. Every Thursday, we drop a new episode. Last week, we missed you guys, so we're going to talk about episode 86 and 87
Mhm.
to you and just kind of recap the conversation that you guys have had on our community chats, on our comments, and then like some of the highlights of the episode and different things that we've learned and want you guys to check it out and continue the conversation in the chat. So yeah. So episode 86, let's
Mhm.
see. The title for that one was, sorry y'all, find it for you guys. All right. So last week, since we were in here on live, 85 was about money moves, financial freedom, and generational wealth. That one was a good one. That
Mhm.
episode we talk about, you know, of course, in our upbringing, Lisa and I had like two different kind of way that we saw how our family dealt with money. My mom did talk about it because I feel like the women in my family are very entrepreneur mindset focused, and they always were like, have your own, start your own business, even if you do have a job. So I did see that. My mom is always and continues to be fake economy, basically save your money and that, you know what I mean, don't spend your money on
Save your money.
frivolous things, you know what I mean. Make sure that you always have a backup plan, and at the end of the day, and this is where her and I kind of like differ. She's always like, well, don't spend your money on lavish things. But I'm like, but if I have the money, I'm not gonna go anywhere, because she tells me that too. She's like, well, you can't take it with you, so why not spend it to enjoy my life? So I
I
think that,
said, yeah.
yeah, so it's a double-edged sword, because I do understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, like I said, the principle of the only thing, like, I know in the episode that I talked about, I wish, because again, a lot of the women in my family are entrepreneur, and I feel like they are successful in that. They just didn't put it to a plan for a legacy. Does that make sense? They didn't
Mhm.
put it, you know what I mean? They did it, I don't know if it's for survival, whatever, but they're very like,
Probably survival.
yeah. So if they started something, they know how to make that thing happen, but um it didn't go further than that for her to teach me how to do that and for it to continue. So I would say that was the only thing. I saw it, but it was never a conversation of like, this is the steps that I'm taking to do it, and this is how you, if you want to continue it, or even the foundation of this is how I do it, and for you to whatever business you want to go into. I mean, we talk about it now,
Mhm.
but I wish that it was a conversation that I had growing up.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all do. And then what's interesting, you're saying the entrepreneurial spirit. My upbringing in the home was definitely you go to work, you go to school, find a good job, and you stay on that job for 30 years. That was the message. And save your money. And that's it, you know?
Find a good
And
man, Savannah. Find a good man,
I,
Savannah.
and then I was also told, like, oh, well, don't do anything. Just wait till you get married to do anything.
Yeah,
Purchase, invest. Wait till you find someone and get married and then do that.
yeah. I didn't see. I feel
Look, the
like,
question
yeah.
is, how did that work out? That's the question.
And I
How
feel
did that
like
work out?
because my mom, but I feel like it's because your dad and your mom have been together for such a long time.
Yes, yes.
My mom was opposite. She and my dad were like constantly. So that's why I got the different message. Yo, have your own. Because these men out here ain't shit. Basically.
Ain't shit. Ain't shit. But
Sorry, I love
it's
my
so.
dad dearly, but I'm just speaking from my mom's perspective because
I
my
know.
dad, not trying to be funny, my dad did basically leave her with 2 kids. She figured out how to bring us here, and then he pops up. And I mean, God rest his soul. He's a good person, but that's kind of shitty from a
Yeah,
woman's
it is shitty.
perspective. You know
It
what I
is.
mean?
It
So
is.
basically, she was like, "Okay, Ninja, you over here. You got these 2 kids. I have these 2 kids with you, and you want to do what you want to do." Like literally, we
Yeah.
ain't seen him for a long period of time, and she's working, and it's not like.
She's providing. She's being
Not
the
only
mother
that, it's
and the
not like
father.
it's not like she's getting him for child support either, because that's another
No.
thing too. I
Because
feel
that's
like in
another
the
thing
career,
that's not normally done. I feel like that's an American thing to do.
yes,
Like, taking a court, girl, bleed him
yeah.
dry.
And
That's
I
an
feel like
American thing.
also my mom, and you tell me, I feel like also in the Caribbean, the women have a lot of pride. Like if you dissing them and you not contributing, they're gonna show you I can make it without you, and I don't need your money. I don't need nothing from you, and none of that stuff. So there, even if I feel like my dad was on child, my mom was not taking that money. She
No.
was she was not taking that
No.
money. She
Yeah,
was
that's
like,
the other thing too. I think
yeah.
the pride can be a blessing and a curse at the same time. But
Yeah.
as Caribbean people, we're very prideful. And then being first generation, we're taught to be very prideful, and that
Mm-hmm.
carries on. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I feel so we talked about money move, but one of the things that we talked about is that you have to understand your mindset when it comes to money. So you can
Hmm.
have a plan put together, you could have all these things, but if you don't understand your relationship with money, it's
Hmm.
not gonna bode well. You know what I mean? Because a lot
No.
of times
Mm-mm.
people feel like, oh my gosh, I have all this money, or I'm getting into this money and all this other stuff. But if your family, like how we say, like my mom is like, oh, save your money, whatever, whatever. You could be a hoarder and not enjoy. You've worked so hard to make this money,
Hmm.
but because all you fear is, again, my mom, she did it because survival, whatever. So all you
Hmm.
fear is, oh my gosh, I need to have, I need to have, I need to have. So now you have this stack of money you're sitting on, but you're not enjoying the life. So what
No,
was
you're
the
not.
point?
But,
Right. What was the
and the
point of
thing,
working? So there has
yeah.
to be a balance, but you need to
Hmm.
understand your mindset around it so you could put a plan that's effective for you when it comes to
Hmm.
money. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and then also too, what happens is we're so programmed to be like, not to spend on lavish things, hold on to your money, things like that. And then you get to retirement age, and those same habits are still with you. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Which technically when you get retired, you kind of have to make sure that that money lasts you the
Mm-hmm.
lifetime of your life.
Right.
But yeah, that still carries on. But yeah, you're right. There needs to be a balance. Like,
Yeah.
you can enjoy yourself. You put your money away. Always say pay yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
When you get paid, you get money,
Mm-hmm.
you pay yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what the number
It's
is.
like
I feel like
10%. It's like 10%.
n- well, 20% should go to your wants. 50% of
Oh.
your paycheck should go to your needs.
Mm-hmm.
20% goes to your wants, and then 15%. Is that math adding up? 50, 20, 15?
That's 70. You have 30% left. So if you do 15, you have 15%.
Yeah,
So
15% you're saving. 15% should go
okay.
into your retirement fund, right?
Mm-hmm.
20% should be for entertaining, having a good time or whatever, and then the remaining amount should go to emergency fund. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you got to your needs, which is your
Mhm.
mortgage, your roof over your head, your car
Mhm.
insurance, all of those things. Then you have your emergency fund that you should
Mhm.
have. You have
Mhm.
15% to your retirement, and then the 20% is I'm going out to dinner with my friends, I'm going to the movies, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I gotta buy more makeup because last week this makeup wasn't on sale. So, stuff like that,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
So,
that's
that's
a good
though
balance. Yeah.
that's yeah. And then once if you have that balance, then you can be, you're okay.
Yeah. And sometimes you do have to like sacrifice on that balance. It's not
Yeah.
always going to end up that way. You got to understand where you are and
Mm-hmm.
understand that if you're just starting out, you might not use that 20% for entertainment. You might need to put your head down and understand that, okay, I can't for this
Mm-hmm.
amount of time that you're giving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all learned, with the crashes of 2008 and then COVID happened, there's certain things that are lifestyle. You got to also reevaluate your finances.
Mm-hmm.
I would say every year, but every quarter maybe, or you know what I mean? Always evaluate and do that kind of a stuff like monthly, because technically monthly you should have a monthly budget, right? A month
Yeah.
because you're paying if you have bills that you got to pay. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
monthly you should evaluate, quarterly, and then you know what I mean, yearly. When the year starts, you should know kind of like, okay, what are you gonna do? What do you want? Where you want your money to go? If your expenses are the same, is there anything that you do want to buy? So you're able to kind of like budget it out. So you have like a plan to execute. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times I think like that's the thing that a lot of people I feel in our community struggle with is
Mm-hmm.
that we were not taught how to properly budget our money
Mm-hmm.
and properly, change, like know how to view the mindset with money, because we feel like we've been taught that money's the devil and
Yeah.
money's
Mm-hmm.
evil and all, so like all the
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
and I also think our
And not
our
in school.
in
No.
school or
Mm-hmm.
in our home, and also I feel like in our religious settings too, you know what I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
teach us that, and that always gets me because they want you, like the church principle is the same principle that money has. Pay yourself first, the first 10%, the first of the your best fruits, you bring it to the Lord. Let me tell you something. That's the whole thing. I'm not gonna get to it because me and tithe right now, I just feel like people.
Uh-oh.
It's the same principle. If you are able to give the man of God 10%, you're able to do it for yourself. If you are a
Oh,
person
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
religiously you're
Yeah.
giving,
Yeah.
please reevaluate your giving,
Yeah.
because I feel like you could also give if you feel like you're a person like you want to give to your community. You could do that on your own and still pay yourself first. If you're unable to pay yourself first, but you are paying, I'm just saying,
Something's
I'm
wrong.
not telling people what to do. Again, this podcast is not for me to tell y'all what to do. I'm just saying, like, make it make sense. Critical thinking, people. Make it make
Oh,
sense.
hey,
You
critical thinking. I think critical thinking is 2026. That's the saying for 2026. Critical thinking.
pay yourself
Woo.
first. The best of
Yeah.
your fruit is pay yourself. God wants you to be, you know what I mean? He
Yeah.
wants you to be able to provide for yourself. The other thing that you mentioned is retirement, because I
Mm-hmm.
also feel like there's a lot, and I was watching this video on Instagram. I don't know which actor that it is, but they had posted, and I guess this actor has LS or whatever, so
Mm-hmm.
he was leaving a message, and it's like to see this actor acting all this and that, you never know how quickly your health can deteriorate and what could come down the line. That's the other part too. Sometimes we're waiting, we're working, waiting until retirement, and then guess what happens? You can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's what is balance is important, because I just feel like you need to be able to, because tomorrow's not promised. So I
No.
will be damned if I work, and I have this stack of money and I didn't do anything with it. And then,
Yeah. You
not
can't.
trying to
You.
be
That's
funny,
part of
who's
legacy.
enjoying my money? I want to leave a legacy for my child, my children, my community, and all that. But I want to enjoy my money because I work for it. Like who don't want to enjoy their money and make sure that, look at here now, because not trying to be funny. If I leave money for the next generation, the value of the money is not going to be the same. And they tell you, if you become successful by the third generation, that money is like, if
Gone.
it's not set up properly, it's gone.
It's
So
gone.
again, if I work really hard to make myself be in this class, oh, I'm gonna enjoy my money. The Limin crew, I'm gonna tell you right now, if y'all don't see us for a couple of Saturday, I'm on an island somewhere. Leave me alone. I'm enjoying.
No, I hear that.
Like
No,
we could go live for you, but enjoy your money while you're health. What you have today, because you just never
no, you don't
know.
know.
You
You don't
don't
know.
know.
Tomorrow is not promised.
And you hear stories
Tomorrow's
all the time of people like they work, then they go home. There was a story of this lady. She worked like 12 hours back to back and then went home and passed away.
yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like that's not the life that we were made. I was not made for that life. I mean, I was not. I was made to have a life of elegance, of abundance, of prosperity, and for
Yep.
me to look pretty. And yes,
Yeah.
I'm gonna work hard for a period of time, but
Yes.
I'm gonna enjoy it while
Yes.
I in my right mind, my right
Yeah.
body, all it
Yeah.
with my family, my loved ones. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We
Yes.
that hard struggle. God bless our ancestors. They did it for us.
They did it for us and for
They
us to
did.
enjoy. Yeah. They did it for us to enjoy ourselves, and we need to
Yeah.
pay respect. And speaking of elders,
Mm-hmm.
not to sidetrack, because we
Mm-hmm.
had this conversation. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, speaking of elders, I feel like with the generation changing of the hands of the generations,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're losing a little bit of going back and speaking to the elders. They're losing, you know, uh taking value in what the elders have to say in
Mm-hmm.
order to keep the cultural and the family unit together. They're
Mm-hmm.
missing that. And then also too, the elders will
Yep.
okay.
Cinderella agrees with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. um the elders also too would also give us the guidance what to do with our money, because they have lived it. They have been our age, we have not been theirs. And the elders also too will help us too. You'd be surprised, they'll be like, you know what, maybe this is what you should do with your money. This is what you should and the elders will tell you too to enjoy your life. The elders will tell you to enjoy your life. So sometimes it's not a bad thing to talk to your elders and still keep them in your life, because they have a lot of wisdom. So.
Yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree. I do think, like you said, we were talking about it, and again, Cinderella is really hyped about this one. Um, is the fact that is the fact that I was listening to, again, I mentioned Earn Your Leisure a lot, but I watched them a lot, and
Mhm.
they were talking about
Those
how,
are your BFFs.
as I know, right? Shout out to y'all. I'm not trying to clout chase either. I'm
No,
not one of
no,
those
not like
people, you
that.
know. But I do listen to quite a few people. Again, it's part of your elevation, right? So you have to have um because they deal with finance. So again, you also have to put the things that you didn't learn from from your parents or from certain things. There are resources out there,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
they are, again, a resource to teach me the things that my mom wasn't able to communicate or teach me when it
Yeah,
comes to finance, when it comes to having a Roth IRA investment and all these other things. So
yeah.
there are resources out there, but they were mentioning how, so as a culture, because we're trying to be so modernized, that there are things that we have stepped away from, like you're
Mhm.
saying. And if you go back to like motherland Africa, in certain places, they still have that concept in the village, right? And
Yeah,
people look
yeah.
down on them and think, oh, they're poor and all this other stuff, but they're keeping true to the sense of, they don't want the outside pollution and distraction. So and not trying to be funny, but when you go back, because then I learned, and I mentioned it to Lisa, in Dominica, they have the highest population of people over 100.
Yes,
You
yes,
know what I
they
mean?
do.
They
Yeah,
do,
and
because
they
they're
don't
eating.
have them. They don't have them in the World Guinness Book of Records either. They be forgetting about us Dominican.
Dominica. So it's
They
like a lot
forget.
of times we have to remember the roots of who we are, because
Mhm.
as much as sometimes, yes, there are things that we're discovering and growing, but there are also things that our elders knew and they did right. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And I
Mhm.
always feel like you have to kind of like look at those things and
Mhm.
implement the good and then
Yeah.
elevate upon the good, not just be
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't want to be that, you know what I mean? And then we
Yeah, learn
completely
from you can
turn
learn from their mistakes too, you know.
right. And like you said, and I do think like when people pick people to be elders, we're not saying that every elder is in their right mind or they're not flawed people and all this other
Mhm.
stuff.
They're human.
But yeah, they are human, but there is a sense of community, of family, of unity, and a sense of direction. I
Mhm.
think when you do have a place where the people that are part of the elder community,
Mhm.
you're able to sit down and talk and hash
Mhm.
out things from a
Yeah.
different perspective that
Yes.
keeps the family together, that keeps
Together.
the community together. And for whatever it is, it just helps to be like, okay, these people are going to be unbiased, they're going to have a conversation, but their goal is to always make sure that the family core is good
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that they're able to advance the family. That's
Yeah.
ultimately their goal. And I think that that's what we miss sometimes.
Yeah.
For me, I would say my perspective, don't come from me, in the American culture, is the fact that we want to be so independent and want to
Yeah.
do things on our own. And
Mhm.
and it's like COVID also like brought us back to people want community. As much as we want to
Yeah.
be independent, we want community, because if we don't, like, think about it, social media is all about community.
Yeah.
People seek those things, whether good or bad, they seek those things. So I feel like, yeah, your elders teach you how to invest money, how to, and it's different too, because they teach you how to keep land, which is another part of
Mhm.
money and
That part, that
legacy.
conversation, yeah.
Right. They teach you how to, like, in places where you're buying animals and you
Mhm.
bartering and trading.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
all part of, money is just
Yeah.
currency, it's just different. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
yeah.
I do
Yeah.
think, like you said, yeah, I wish that was something for me and my family that we had.
Mhm.
Um, because there's some people that's trying to be head of families, and I'm like, no, we need to chop the head off. I'm not following that.
Not everybody's suited to be the head of the family.
If you pick yourself and you are a person that is about division, and or you can't even be honest with your own truth, you should be no head of no family.
No.
And it's a vetting
No.
process. There are rules to this. You
Yeah.
can't just nominate yourself because you give
No.
money or because you look good in a suit or because like you did, but then you conniving, manipulative, like your children don't want to even be around you. Like there's a bunch
Mhm.
of bullshit going on. Because that's what
Yeah.
I look at. I look at
Yeah.
the fruit of your labor. So my thing
Yeah.
is, you can't, and I'm not, again, not saying you flaw, but I feel like if you coming on some bullshit and you're not about, again, advancing the family, you are a person that you're dividing,
Yeah.
you got to look at yourself. And
You're
sometimes,
not the
yeah,
person to be, and the thing is also too, a lot of people have the stigma, oh, the firstborn. The firstborn should be the
no,
firstborn don't always be the right one. The firstborn is not always the best candidate to
no,
be head of family. Because
no,
that's what it's about. Are you the
yeah,
correct candidate?
yeah.
Probably not.
It should be a vetting process,
Yeah.
because I'm the firstborn. But with being the firstborn, Lisa and I are both the firstborn. We're talking about the firstborn. So we know we're talking about people.
Yeah. Being the
Is
firstborn. Lord.
it's the fact that they're a different type of firstborn. I'm the firstborn, reluctantly don't want to be one.
No. Listen, and half the times we don't even want the job. We don't
So
even want the
thank
job, but
you.
we here.
We here. So the thing is, I don't think people understand the responsibility
Mhm.
of being the firstborn. That's one. I will tell you, as a firstborn, reluctantly, after I got my ass whooped when I was like 6 or 7, because my sister got her hair chopped up by one of our friend, cousin or God, like, and I was in the other room, and they're
You
like,
wasn't
when
even
they got
there.
home, where were you at? Mind you, I'm a child as well.
Yep.
They don't care. Like my sister
No.
and I are Irish twins, they call it. We're like maybe a year and a half, 2 years apart. So we're
10
really
months
close in
apart, something
that.
like that.
Yeah, something like that. So the thing is, once I got my behind whooped because of her, I didn't do nothing, folks. That has
Yeah.
stuck with me. That wound, that mark, I'm just kidding, has stuck with me.
my God.
It has stuck with me that I'm like, oh, this is how we treat firstborn. I don't want the job. I don't want the job. So when I find out my dad had
B is tapping out.
I'm tapping out somebody else. And then later on, I found out my daddy got a older son. I was the middle child. I mean, my mom's side, I'm still the oldest. My dad's side, but I was like, oh, whoo, I could tap out, but we don't have a relationship yet.
Your duties have been relinquished.
Yes, and thank you gladly. I'm assigning that away. Take everything that comes with that. But I'm laughing about it. But I don't think people understand the responsibility. And the other thing too is a lot of times, just like we don't know what it means to be the oldest. We don't know how to be like, because everybody that comes after you, you're constantly being compared. You're also, you know what I mean? There's always a comparison. There's always like a thing about you have to be responsible. You have to do the pressure of walking the right way and doing everything so perfectly. And then the rest of your sibling is out here acting a plump fool. And
they're just chasing their tails. They're running around in circles. And meanwhile, you over here got to be a full adult at a child. Yeah.
It's like, well,
they're just like,
you're the oldest. You're the oldest. You're the oldest. You got to forgive. You
well,
I
also feel,
you got to do that. And
I feel like too, when you're the firstborn, you're the test baby, right? Number one. And number three, I think you're the test baby. And then I think you're the third adult in the room. Whether you like it or not,
right?
You are the third adult, because 9 times out of 10, the parents are just trying to figure it out.
Right.
And you're the one there probably being the voice of reason to them. You know what I'm saying? They're treating you like, well, let's ask this first child. Let's ask them. Because y'all, all three of y'all are figuring it out together. By the time you figure it out, the next child comes along. They're like, all right, we know what to do. We know everything. And that child gets to freaking run around on Candy Lane.
And you're the one as the oldest. And you're as the oldest or helping raise that other one, because there's a part of because the thing about it is, once you're old enough to do certain things, your parents tapping out. They're like, oh, somebody gotta watch them. Oh, they ain't worrying about it because they know you there. Like, forget your own, forget you having to be a child. You lose a lot of your sense of childhood when you have siblings. I personally think, because of the fact that, again, my growing up was, I always felt the sense of, I have to look out for my sister. But guess what? Ain't nobody looking out for me. Lisa's frozen, y'all. She'll be back. Hold on. Oh. While Lisa's coming back on. But yeah, let us know, the Limin crew, your thoughts in the comments while we get Lisa back on. She's logging on through her phone. See, this is what happens when you go live. Internet issues. And the weather is kind of today. So it could also be that. But let us know in the comments. Are you the oldest child? Did you listen to the episode 85 about finances? What did you think? Or there's some good tools and resources about finances that you are using, that you feel like we could share with our D-Limin crew? But let us know. The other thing too, that please read books. Currently I'm reading You Deserve to Be Rich by Rashad and Troy from EYL. That's a book. And I recently finished reading Tony Robbins. I'm gonna get the title for you guys. Tony Robbins' book. And I'm gonna get the exact title. That book is actually very. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you. So that just happened.
Yes, I was given
wonderful world of technology. I guess my computer crashed. That's what happened.
Oh, okay. I was saying maybe it's the weather, because I know over here the weather is kind of
No.
whatsoever.
The
But yeah, guys,
computer was like, yo, we don't want to work anymore.
we're
We're just
done
gonna
today.
crash.
So the book that I was saying to you guys, that I read also at the beginning of this year or end of last year, is Tony Robbins' book, Money Master the Game. The audio is over 20 hours. I would recommend doing the audio. If you got a library card, I think you could do it through your library, rent it out and stuff like that. But the book is like a thick ass book. So I did audio and it was very, so I would recommend kind of like those two books. And like I said, I read that one. I'm currently reading You Deserve to Be Rich. And then I also have a book that I think Rashad from EY recommended, and it's like your 12-week year. So I'm gonna start that one after I finish that. So resources for money. And yeah. So anything you want to add before we move to last week's or this week's episode?
No, that's it. Is that and no? The other thing that I wanted to talk about also too is that our parents, they did the best that they could, but then also too, I think they were under the impression that we were going to learn a lot of stuff in school. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, in school they don't teach you about finance,
Mm-hmm.
because just like the Rockefellers, they want to keep, this, we talked about this in the episode, that they want to keep students as and people as consumers. So why would we teach about money in school?
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
not going to teach we're not going to teach them
Right.
that in school. So that's another
Right.
thing also too. Thank goodness for the resources that we have this, in this day and time. And, those families that did talk about finances with their kids, kudos and hats off to you. And
Mm-hmm.
just, and passing that down to the different generations and passing that on to other family and friends that may not know the intricacy, the different things about money, financing, what the best to how to invest your money, the
Mm-hmm.
best to how to budget, all of those things to keep us and be able to have the generational wealth for our
Mm-hmm.
families. And also too, it's teaching our younger generations how to be self-sufficient,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and
So I
resourceful.
have to
So
go.
that's
Yeah, I have to go back. So I'm kind of did a boo boo. Episode 85 was Money Moves Financial Freedom. 86, my bad, y'all. That's the one we're supposed to be talking about for the past 30 minutes. That one is Sling and Stiletto, Balancing Work and Family. And then 87 this week was Mompreneurs,
yours.
building businesses and empowering others. 86 and 87 kind of go together. So we could talk about this for the next 30 minutes. But yeah, so sorry about that. But I wanted to just make sure that I said that. So 86 was Sling and Stilettos, women balancing work and family. And then this week's episode is 87, which was Mompreneurs, building business and empowering others. And in those two episodes, we basically recognize as women and men, but as women, a lot of times we find it, we have a guilt trip, right? When we're trying to have a family and have children, and then also want to have a career or want to be in business and things like that. And a lot of times we struggle with how to balance both. And like I said, last week's episode was finding the balance between your family, your work, and your life. And then in this week episode, we're talking about like that guilt. If you are trying to build a business, how do you like the Limin crew? How do you find ways, what I mean, to not feel guilty, like you're not spending as much time with your kids if you have kids, you're not spending as much time with your family. If even if you're like a single person, there's still sometimes like your friends, your community, you know what I mean? Sometimes
Mhm.
you're sacrificing your time and you're being by yourself. So how do you balance all of that? So we talked about that basically in both of those episodes. How do you set boundaries, right? Also with the work-life balance, there's times where, you know, um work may not understand. Well, let's go back. A lot of times the women are the one that are birthing children, right? And sometimes if you have a job, if you have a career, if you have a business, sometimes you don't get a break just because you're giving birth, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
how do you set boundaries? How do you set boundaries to say, hey, I need this time. I need to spend time with my family. I'm going to give this time to my business, to this and that, because I don't a lot of time, and there been studies that shows when we think we're multitasking, something is always being sacrificed. As much as you
Yes.
think like you're multitasking, oh, I'm able to do that, you're not doing it to the best of your capability that you think that you are. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So a lot of times, just because we can multitask doesn't mean we should always, because something is gonna lax. And a lot of times we don't think about that. So it's just like you just have to, I think, set the boundaries and actually reevaluate your boundaries, and but understand where your time is being devoted, and are you
Hmm.
doing it for a period of time? Because there's a lot of times too where if you are gonna be a mom and maybe you didn't have a business right idea, and then you find this business, it's like, oh, I want to do this. You know, if you are with a partner that's understanding, that's supportive, share your dreams so you guys could carve out a goal of how you're going
Hmm.
to make it happen. You know, is that person going to be supportive? If you are you expecting that person to be supportive, or you expecting that person to just, you know, help you in certain areas? Like, you got to tell that person also,
Yeah.
or your community, what you need from them. If it's like, yo, every day for 2 hours I need you to undisturbed watch the
Yeah.
kids, do whatever, so I can focus on this for the 2 hours, and you have a game plan and you have
Yep.
what's gonna work. It may change and all that, but I think a lot of times um we feel as women we could do everything, and we can, but we don't have to sometimes.
We don't have to, but yeah, the burden is definitely, I think the burden is twofold. Me, and what I mean by that, the burden, part of it we put on ourselves, and part of it society puts on us too. Um, I think because it started out like, women wanting to have more and have more say and rights.
Mm-hmm.
So with coming with that, it's like, all right, society, I'm gonna say, all right, if you want to work in the workplace, then you need to also be able to handle the family. Now, what companies used to do a long time ago, because I remember my dad used to talk about his company used to do this, and I think it would be so helpful, and I'm not really sure why companies got away from this, is that you would have your daycare in the same building that you're working
Mm-hmm.
at.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? And it would give women such a peace of mind to know that my child is not that far away from me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think because a lot of times women have such the burden, like, I got to take care of the children. I also have to feed my family,
Mm-hmm.
and then have the anxiety to know that my kid is at another location that's far away, that if something happens, I got to leave work. I got to, take the whole entire day off. But
Mm-hmm.
there is some level of peace of mind to know that your job has a daycare or nursery on
Mm-hmm.
property. I think that I feel like they need to bring that back. I'm sure there are some companies. I'm not sure if it's Google does it or Apple does it. I don't know.
Not sure. But
I'm
it's
not
also,
sure.
you gotta think about it, a lot of times too, it's expenses, right? Like, companies are always gonna take away when it comes time to their bottom line. I
Hmm.
could be wrong, but I just feel like a lot of times, if it's because we're expenses to a company. Let's be
Yeah.
very frank, we're expenses to a company. Your healthcare insurance, we're an expense to them. And I feel like a lot of times when it comes to, okay, if the company is budgeting and they see like, oh, how we're gonna make bottom or top revenue, bottom line, or whatever, whatever, the first thing that's gonna go is expenses. So I feel
Yeah.
like having the daycare is probably was an expense, because you got to remember we got to have a room. You don't know how many kids are gonna be there. You got to have staff member. You got to provide all the stuff. So they probably was like, yes, you're absolutely right. I think it would be more of a morale booster for women. It would give more, but I just feel like companies are running businesses and they feel like, okay, well, this is an expense. And then also at the same time, I feel like how you said, if you don't have a lot of women making those decisions and you have
Yeah.
male dominant, they don't understand that the people making the decision, unless there are women in that room that could fight
Yeah.
for that and understand, you got sometimes a lot of men making decisions for women and thinking that
Yeah.
they understand. And I'm like, no, you don't understand the human that came out of my coochie and all that it takes to raise this human. So stay in your
Wow.
lane.
Yeah, but I think also too, it
I'm
helps
just
the men
saying.
too. It helps the men because wouldn't you
But
get
they
peace of
don't
mind?
understand. But they don't understand that decision from a corporate is what I'm saying is why they get rid of it. They don't understand. They're like, well, you. That's all I'm saying is like I just don't think from a company's point of view when they're making the decision to cut stuff. I don't think that they fully understand like what you're saying. It would be you would have a
Okay.
person that would be more dedicated to come to work and have that piece. I that piece. I don't think that they can relate because I don't know. Because again, like you said, the burden is on the woman to figure it out. The woman to figure out, you know what I mean? Like how to take care of the kid. The woman, and a perfect example is when I got divorced, my son was very young and he stayed with me up until he was in the double digits, right? Because I have a son. So I was just like, yeah, at a certain point, I knew that he was going to have to be with his dad because I can't raise a man. I don't have the body parts. I'm very honest with myself, right? So I was like, I said, so he stayed with me for a good amount of time. So when he went to stay with his dad, like we just switched it. You know what I mean? So basically we switched from like, you know, the weekends to weekdays and all of that. So his dad had him the majority of the time to go to school and then I had him on the weekend. And it was like at the first couple of years, it was like my rules was I was like, okay, they're gonna figure it out or whatever. But what I realized is when he was sick from school, they were calling me to pick him up. And I had to be like, wait a minute now. After like a couple of times, I had to be like, wait a minute, because one, I didn't have like I was working by myself, taking care of myself, right? So I didn't have another partner helping me with nothing. There was no alimony. There was no child support. And I don't
Oop,
give a fuck who
oop,
get upset or not. There was not. So
oop.
everything was basically on me. And not saying that it was bad, but I'm just saying, so when I'm getting off of work, we all know you don't get paid if you're not at work. So 2 on 1, 2 on 1. Your asses is two paycheck coming in, but you want the person that's a single paycheck to get off because I'm the mom. After a couple of times, I was like, let me tell y'all something. No, 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 no. Let's revisit because now he's with you when he goes to school.
Yeah.
I'm the last on the emergency list. You gotta fucking figure it out before you call me because the thing is, they would automatically was like, he's sick. I had to be like, oh, okay. I was like, okay, what you gonna do? Because again, unless you're gonna pay me for my time, because you ain't giving shit over here. The
Yeah.
same way when he was with me, I had to figure it out before I called you. Is the same way. And again, it's 2 on 1. Two freaking adults working on one. So I get a lot of times, and like goes back to what you say. It's the automatic thought that, oh, that's your mom. That's the
Yeah.
mom. She's gonna want to do what? Yeah, I want to take care of my. But you're the father.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Equal responsibilities. Equal responsibilities. Yep.
But
Yeah.
like you said, the burden is automatically the mom. And I had to be like, no, because with my paycheck, I still gotta pay my bills. You gonna
Yep.
be okay over here. I still gotta pay my bill. And you ain't
Yep.
fucking giving nothing over here. No, I'm not sacrificing that because I
Yep.
have to now worry about I love my child. I want my child to be taken care of, but he's in your care.
Yeah.
Because when he's in my
Yeah.
care, I
You
have to
figure
take
it
it.
out. You have to figure it out. Yeah. But this is the thing about mamapreneurs. They are running whole businesses and the family is a whole business too. So
Mm-hmm.
actually they're running two enterprises.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And there are some moms out there, they are killing it. They're
Yep.
getting it done,
Mhm.
but at what expense? We don't know. Some we
Mhm.
do know, some we don't.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah. But
it's
it's
just,
also a great thing when you're a mompreneur because I feel like again, growing up in Guadeloupe, not when my mom came to the US, but I talk about that in the episode because my mom was like an entrepreneur. I call it's the same thing as Mary Kay. She was selling makeup and stuff like that, right? So she I remember again in the episode I talk about like in Guadeloupe for lunch, I was able to go home for that hour period or whatever for lunch.
Isn't that a beautiful thing, girl? How many countries are doing that? There's a lot of other countries that are doing that.
I don't
Meanwhile, we
know.
getting a whole 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I
I
need
was
I need
able.
30 minutes to decide what I want.
Yeah, so I don't know because you could choose to stay and eat lunch at the school, but there was a choice. So I remember for a long time I was walking home, and it was funny because when I would walk home, my mom would be there. She would be there. I had lunch, then send me back to school. She went back to work. So I feel like also mompreneur, you just have more of a flexibility. So a lot of times, even though you feel guilty on certain areas, but think about it. If you work at 8 to 5, like you said, and you on somebody else's time,
Mm-hmm.
you only get 30 minutes or an hour break. But if you're your own business, you
You
could
could
say,
take two
yo,
hours.
I want to spend an hour, 2 hours with my kid at school and not worry about it
Mm-hmm.
because I could give my business out on the back end if
Mm-hmm.
you're able to do it. You know what I mean? So I feel like there's pros and cons in everything, but I just feel like again in the episode we talked about the guilt. You should not have the guilt because at the end of the day, you're gonna leave something so much greater for your
Yeah.
children,
Mm-hmm.
but teach them along the way. So because the thing about it is a lot of times you're trying to do this for your family, but you don't involve them in the process. And I think for me, like I said, I wish that my mom had involved us in the process because I just feel like when I see families that are successful in whatever area and they have their kids involved in the process from a young age, it continues the legacy. It
Well,
continues.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because I had this conversation with my dad as well too. Is that remember they're coming from an era where kids were seen and not heard, right?
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
it would be because I had the conversation with my dad, like it'd have been nice. Like, how come we didn't sit down and have these conversations? You know what I mean? If we sat down and had conversations from a young child growing up, yeah, you and I probably be so much further. We'd
mm-hmm,
be so much further. We'd be so much more connected with our family.
mm-hmm.
You know, the bond
Uh,
would be there.
I could,
I'm saying if, I'm just
I'm
saying if.
Scorpio. I can take or leave it. I'm you,
Okay, but
your
I'm
dad
just
and I
saying.
understand. You understand what I'm saying. You understand our
No, I
Scorpio
understand what you're
aspect.
saying.
I
Okay,
understand what you're
I'm
saying.
speaking in general
Yeah, you're right
that
though. You're right.
with the generational difference, our parents kids were seen and not heard. So they didn't have the tools or even know, they couldn't even fathom what that's like to sit down and have a conversation or with your kids or involve your kids in the process. They can't even process that because they never seen it. I don't think you could process anything you haven't seen, right?
Hmm. Right. Right.
Because we have this idea, really, we have the idea and we long for it because we know that it's capable of happening and people are having a conversation that to do this is beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
And there are families now that because they didn't see that and they want something different for their family, they're doing that now with their kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I think that's a beautiful thing what mompreneurs is that get the family involved, get the
Mm-hmm.
kids involved. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And then it becomes a whole buy-in,
Mm-hmm.
and then it could be then it will move to the generational wealth. Again,
Right.
we talking about the generational wealth. These are
Mm-hmm.
the things that can get you closer to that. But
And it
we have
builds
to learn to
legacy.
talk to
Yeah.
each other first. That's a whole nother
Yeah. Because it
episode.
also builds a legacy because I think I sent you the thing about the lawyer that talked about like, if his kids marry and all that other stuff and how
Yeah.
legacy. So I feel like as us people, we have been it's like there's a seed from especially if our family because my family is from Haiti, right? And Dominica, but we still come from people that were enslaved in a way, right?
Yeah.
And same thing with African American slavery and all this other stuff. So if your family comes from that kind of a root where it was beaten into them that they were nobodies, they couldn't do anything, they couldn't build nothing, and that overcoming that as a generation. They still overcame certain things, because in Haiti, the revolution was a big thing, and they built Haiti to be, whatever. But again, Haiti, but they went through a lot. African American as well. You have so many of the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm sure in Dominica, right? We overcome so much because we have it in us, right? But then it's constantly roadblocks, barriers, like just different things to keep us thinking that we don't deserve that prosperity and that abundance, right? And especially when you go back through and you read history, African American history, Black people history, just history in general, and you see how wealthy that we are, and how a lot of our wealth were stolen from us, right? And then when we're trying to reclaim it, trying to be like, oh, we don't do, but it was ours to start with in the first place. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like from the generation where we were gods and all this other stuff, queens and kings, to the one where now you're trying to like beat us to submission, that you're better. Now it's our generation trying to like maneuver
and crawl out of it.
Wait a minute. We were gods. We were this. But the struggle is our parents' generation was beating into them that they don't deserve this. So now we are trying to like decipher this internal thing. Like, we deserve to take up space. We deserve all of this. At the end of the day, and nobody should stand in the way, but we still have to overcome that. That is a root and a seed in us, because as a community, a lot of times we got to take accountability that we don't always show when we do get the money that we are coming together to help each other, right? It's like we make it, and then sometimes we think we're better than our fellow. You understand? So there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of things that within our own self and community that we need to work on and help like moms understand, but also not, what would I say, when we are entrepreneurs and we want the support of our community, we also need to make sure that we treat our community with kindness, and that we are giving the quality to our community. You know what I mean? That we're not expecting our community to blindly follow us and buy $100 makeup when they've been buying $50 makeup, and customer service is not what it needs to be. It takes forever to get, you know what I mean? And I know it takes time, but there's just certain things that we have to be mindful of. Just because there's a lot to, there's a struggle. There's a struggle. There is war. There's, you know what I mean? There's always that thing like, I want to be an entrepreneur, but is my community going to support me? And then when I do get the support of my community, am I always going to do right by my community? You know what I mean? And then if I do, is my family, you know what I mean? Like, you got to get your family involved, and you have to put the plan together, and you also have to remember the balance of your family, because you don't want to become this person or this business person where you've made yourself so high and abundant in this businesses that your family now suffers. You understand what I'm saying? You still have to kind of like balance being emotionally available for your children, for your partner. And I was trying to see if I had a book. I was trying to see if I had a book. Welcome back.
Thanks.
I was trying to see if I had a book or any resources to share with you guys on this one. But what I would say is, for me, what helps me, because we're trying to give you resources, is I listen to a lot of motivational and affirmation, and there's a couple of channels. And if there's anything you want to add, Lisa, I want to look up the channels that I listen to. So I give you guys a name. Do you have any resources or anything to add? Oh, let me see.
Not at the moment. My phone is dying.
Okay.
Not at the moment. I'll drop it in the comments later on. Yeah.
I like to listen to a lot of
1%.
motivational
Yeah.
motivational and that's one thing
Documentaries?
yeah, documentaries are good and motivational affirmation and
Yeah, I like the
YouTube.
affirmation music. That
Mhm.
that gets you through every morning. I listen to my affirmation music, have that on rotation, and sometimes I
Mhm.
have to throw it on in the middle of the day too, just to
Yeah,
get me through.
all
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
All day.
It's just the energy just makes me feel so much better. Yeah,
Mhm.
we need that. You're right, because it's reprogramming, right? All the way
Mhm.
around.
Yeah,
We
and when you listen to stuff, it sticks within your brain,
Yeah.
so definitely.
Mhm.
So the one that I like is there's a YouTube channel. It's Motiversity, Motiversity. That
Mhm.
is like one of my top ones. That one is
Mhm.
really good.
Mhm.
Um, as far as if you want to just listen to motivation, they have all time and you can listen to it. I also love listening to Les Brown.
Oh,
You know what I
yes.
mean?
I like Les.
Yes,
I
Les.
like him. I love his stories. Oh my god, he just
Mhm.
makes you feel, even though sometimes I feel like he's yelling at me, but I just love to listen to
Really?
him. I feel like sometimes he's yelling at me, but I don't
Yeah.
know what it is. It's like yelling in a loving way, like,
Yes.
just a real loving way.
Yeah.
And oh my god, but I love listening to him.
Yeah. He definitely is one that I like listening to. Um, there's quite a few. So you could there's Coach Payne, and I got my son into that. There's one affirmation that he
Oh,
actually
he's
has
good too.
memorized.
Hmm.
Yeah, he has memorized one of his affirmation, and whenever he's down, it's like he's like, yeah, he memorized. So there's things that you also could put in the background for your kids, and you'll be surprised how your kids also respond to it. You don't think that they do, but they really do. So you
Hmm.
have to find things that help you stay motivated
Yeah.
and keep your mind focused on what
Hmm.
you want to accomplish and not have the guilt because you know your why. You know the
Yeah.
reason that you're getting up and you're doing it. You know the reason because if you don't, I think a lot of times that's where the guilt comes. And again, we're human.
Yeah.
It's okay to have the guilt. It's okay to go through the emotion, but to not let it, first of all, not let it get you down. And don't let no motherfuckers tell you also make you feel guilty because they don't know what they're doing. I
No,
feel like sometimes, a lot
no.
of
What
times,
is
because I've been there, it's other people
It's other, and their
also trying to
baggage
make you
is
feel,
their baggage.
yes, they
Yeah, that's
make you
not your
feel,
baggage.
oh my gosh, like trust me, because I've had family members um call me like talking about like I'm a bad mother when I'm like trying to do businesses and my that's another story. Limin, we might have to do that one behind the paywall. But there are people like when you're trying to do things to help elevate. And I remember like I was in finance, I think at the time, or whatever I was doing. So so like, of course, when you're doing that, you have to have people watch your kids and stuff like that. And sometimes I would have to go like after work and it'd be a couple, and it'd be like, oh, people watching your kid, and you're a bad mother. And I'm
Listen, I'm feeding my kids. I'm keeping a roof over their head, and I'm providing them so they can have a little bit more of a comfortable future than I had. Then, if I'm a bad mother, then I'll be that bad mother. Then that's what
I
I'm gonna
just be
do.
thinking, is it because you're
Clearly, you
jealous?
got it all figured out.
I be thinking to myself, is it because you're jealous? You want to do it,
No,
you
it is.
can.
It totally is. Like, how could you do that? How could you do that?
So a lot of times the guilt, like Lisa said, is the society, but it also could be your family, your friends,
Hmm.
close people close to you trying to make you feel like, oh my God. And guess what? It's okay.
Yeah,
Because now the result is when I look at my son, I feel good about those decisions. And
yeah,
again, I'm not the only parent. He has another
yeah,
parent.
yeah,
So I'm okay with that. And again,
yeah.
if you don't want to help watch my kid, if you don't want to provide support, don't say no. There's plenty
Keep it
of time.
moving.
Right. So my
Keep it
thing is
moving.
like, yeah, the guilt, wherever the guilt comes from, nowhere it's because it's gonna come. It's gonna come. Trust me, it's gonna come. And you just gotta keep focused. And you might have to cuss a few people out along the way. It's okay. Tell them about
Yeah,
themselves, keep moving.
that's
Because
it.
sometimes people be trying you for no damn reason. And you be like,
Nope.
I'm minding my business, what drinking my water.
Yes,
Why
how about
why
that? Speaking of
you
that, I told my
why?
I had to put my dad onto that song last night. He was like, "That's a song?" I said, "It's a song."
Yes.
I had to send that to him last night. I was like, "That's a whole song.
Look, do it for
Drink your
yourself. But
water and mind your business.
yes, and if you don't want to help somebody or you don't
Don't say
understand the
nothing.
person, thank
Don't
you.
say
Move along.
nothing."
Keep it
No,
going.
yeah.
Take your energy somewhere else. Like leave
Yeah.
people alone. But mother, this again episode was to empower you. Know your why. Don't feel guilty if you do. Feel it through. Maybe you might need to just put the plan that you're doing or balancing. You need to reevaluate. Maybe
Yeah.
you're putting so much stress on yourself. You're not
Mhm.
involving the people that can really support you and help you. So do the things that work for you, because at the end of the day, when you sitting on your stack of money and haters gonna hate,
Mhm. Because it's about you having financial freedom. That's what it's about. So you
it's
can
about
spend more
you.
time with your family,
Yep, it's
spend
about
more
you.
time with your children. So therefore, yeah, it's age old. Haters are gonna hate, and we just gotta silence the noise, find a
Yes.
way. Thank God for affirmations.
Yep.
That we have those that can help us get us through to remind us our value, how good we are, we deserve, we belong, all of the things. Thank
Hmm.
goodness for that. So, yes, D Lyman crew.
So we're
Take
going
a
to
listen.
again. We're gonna end with how we typically do. I'm gonna ask you guys, what's the hardest place for you to set a boundary? And the
Mm.
choices is A, with family and friends, B, in the workplace, C, on social media, or D, with your own schedule.
Mm. Mm. I think I don't know if I could chime in. I think for me personally, I think for me is twofold. One is setting boundaries at work, which actually I've gotten a little bit better with that.
Hmm.
I've gotten better with that. And then also be setting boundaries with myself. And
Okay.
when you say setting boundaries with yourself, that means s- setting, I guess, a schedule for yourself and sticking to it. Is that what you mean?
Is whatever boundaries look like for you, like
Yeah,
the hardest
boundary.
place, yeah, the hardest place for you to kind of like, or you're a person where you just go with everything, you accept everything, you don't have like a time where you're like, okay, I need time to reset, to reevaluate. So like you said, if you're a
Yeah.
person where if so, if somebody calls you, you're there. Whatever you like, what is it? You empty
Yeah, I
your
was like,
cup. You empty
yeah,
your
I was
cup
like,
and you
yeah.
never refill your own. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You
Well, I've gotten better with that because that was me. I was the type of
yeah,
person you could call me 2 o'clock in the morning, like it's popping off. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's
yeah,
go.
yeah,
But no, I have. Oh, Lord, this adult stuff.
yeah. Adulting.
I've reluctantly have gotten better with that boundary.
Yeah.
That it's okay to be like, no, I need my time. It's okay
Mhm.
to say no. That
Yes.
was the hardest thing for me. It's
Mhm.
okay to say no. I
And
can't
complete
do that.
complete sentence. Complete sentence. Period. I don't have to
Yeah.
explain.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
No. Because
Yeah.
when you
That
say no, I realized that I had learned that when you say no, sometimes people are shocked and then
yeah.
they're waiting for you to explain yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's times where I'm like looking at people, they're looking at me, I'm looking at them, they're looking at me, and I'm like, what are you waiting for? And they ask the question again, and I go, no. They're like, what do you mean? No is a complete set and dot period. And I walk away because I don't have to explain myself. I don't
Mhm.
have to, there should be no way if I'm setting a boundary, you're asking me for something of my energy, of my time. And I say no because you're asking me, can I do this for you? Can I, whatever? You are asking me a question.
Got it.
And if I say no, that should be it. Why should there be an explanation come after the no when you ask me? I don't owe you because I didn't ask you to ask me the question. So I feel like you're right.
Wow.
There are times where with the boundaries, people don't understand, especially when it's family. And for me, I have a small group of friends. So my group of friends, I know them. So if they call me, if stuff it's really an emergency, so my
Mhm.
group of friends are not gonna what would I say? They're not gonna put me in a situation where they're constantly draining me. That makes sense.
No,
Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
no,
Like
no,
my
no, no,
super
no, no,
friends
no,
or
no.
like
That
that. But
that
then
to
with
me, I
family,
I need to
yeah.
clarify. I need to
Oh,
clarify.
no, 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 no. I'm just
Yeah,
saying, like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
No, if
There are
I feel it's
people.
draining me, oh hell no, I
Yeah,
don't gotta
yeah,
give no explanation. Actually, I might just tell you I'm going to the restroom, and I just might C7 myself out the back door and just not say shit.
right.
I'm just saying that that's just
Yeah.
me.
But back in
I'm
the day,
just,
it used to be
yeah,
my boundary used to be family because I consider myself to be a very very family oriented
yeah,
person,
yeah.
and I feel like part of me getting divorced helped me, and then also that was the first part, and then part of me also when I did my family reunion and that ended helped me view things differently. That I was like,
Mhm,
okay, I could set this boundary and be okay with it because I used to be the person like I want to keep families together and understanding that as a family, even if you want that community, everybody's different and nobody has the same intention as you. They
no,
view
that's true. They
different
don't.
things differently.
They
So that
don't.
was a big boundary that I had to set. And up to
Mhm,
this day, I still have to tell my mom about it. I'm like, that's a boundary. I'm no longer, you know what I mean? Like, and I struggle with it sometimes still, but that's a boundary that I really have become better at because at the end of the day, if I pour in, you got to pour in too. You
mhm,
know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of times with family, because we think it's family, they take advantage of us, right? And then we
mhm.
think, oh, it's family. I don't give a fuck who you are. You could be my child. I don't give a fuck who you are because then it's me. I only have one life. I only have one body.
Yeah,
Once
yeah,
I'm done, I'm done. So I'm now
yeah,
protecting my energy and my source, and I pick and choose, and I don't feel guilty with
yeah.
if I don't have it to give. Regardless of who you are, if I don't have it to give, you're gonna find somebody else to give it to you.
Mhm,
So if I don't feel like I don't feel guilty if I
mhm.
don't have it to give at this
Yeah.
particular time. Does that make sense? So
No,
yeah,
it makes complete
yeah.
sense. No, I get it. I
I'm
get
not a
it.
big social media person. So social media, I could be on it and then I could be days without on it. So social media for me is good. The workplace, I've had to set boundaries because I used to be, I don't want to say a workaholic, but I just feel
Mhm.
like when you're by yourself hustling, you know what I mean? You want to
It's
give your
hard to turn it
best.
off. You can't it's hard to turn it off. That's
Mhm.
the thing for me too. It's hard to turn it off, like,
Yeah.
because 'cause I'll just keep sitting there, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Thank
you heard the example this week. I got chastised
yeah.
for
Yeah.
staying late at work.
Yeah. That
That you were able to witness that one, and I appreciate it.
yeah, that was
What
funny.
they say? There is nothing that important that you
Yes.
need to be here, Lisa. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
shit. All right.
that's
All
true.
right, I'm packing my
Yeah.
bag right now. Oh
But I
gosh."
feel like because you're in a different environment, I feel like because that's the other thing too. I feel like you also need to be in a safe, positive environment to get that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
Yeah,
the
because
other
the
environment
environment
is
before was
toxic, where they
like,
don't care how much you're giving. There's some environments
no,
that you work in, they don't care that you're there 10, 12 hours. It's not enough for them.
no,
They don't care that you're
no.
missing out. They're having their life with their family, but they expect you to be here 10, 12 hours, but they're
Yeah.
behind or not there. Like their kids have soccer, their kids have this, they're out. But they want you to keep the company going, sacrificing yourself because they see that you have good work ethic. I'm not there no more. Just like your kid has soccer and basketball, mine does too. So I'm going.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
I gotta show up for his soccer game too. So
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be able to make it because he got a soccer game too.
I got
So
twins.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got
you
twin
know,
boys and twin girls. Yo, I
yeah,
got a whole football field over
yeah,
here.
yep,
Husband
yeah,
and I, we got to split because they are in different. Yeah,
yeah,
husband over
yeah,
here with the boys, and I'm
yep,
over here with the girls. So no,
yeah.
no,
And then
thank
some
you.
days I have to wash my hair, so I'm not gonna be able to make it.
Yeah, I got to change my wig, and that's a whole thing at the beauty shop.
No, I'm not gonna be able to make it. No.
I'm not sacrificing that.
I'm not
Got
sacrificing that. And then there's some days I gotta get my nails done. We cannot sacrifice getting my nails done. We're not
self
doing
care.
that. No.
Self
So
care is good. We learned self care.
no.
COVID taught us self care. We're not giving up self care. I'm so sorry. Yeah,
Nope.
the kids, the
Yeah.
husband,
Mm-hmm.
business, podcast
Yeah.
partnership.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot
There's a
that we
lot
be
going on. We got a
doing.
lot going on. No.
I'm not
Oh,
feeling guilty with telling you no, and I'm not explaining myself. Get out of here.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mompreneurs, y'all doing a great job.
doing
Keep
a
up the
great
great
job.
job. Keep your
Yes.
sanity. Find the resources, walking in nature, whatever it is to
Mm-hmm.
keep your mind, set your boundaries, communicate,
Yes.
with your safe people, those that you trust, that are
Mm-hmm.
going to help elevate you, help um pour into you, because sometimes you do need people to pour into you that not taking because you're giving and giving. So
Mm-hmm.
find your resources, find your balance. Don't feel guilty. Tell those that make you feel guilty to fuck off, and like Beyonce say, I ain't sorry, middle finger up.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. I'm just
That's
saying.
it.
And then guess what you do? You pick up your water, you drink it.
And mind your business. All right, the Limin crew. Thank you for hanging out with us for another week, another live.
Yes.
This week, make sure you check out our latest episode that comes out on Thursday on all your favorite podcast platforms. And don't forget YouTube too. Come and check us out on here.
Yeah.
Comment and like and share with your peoples. And I
Closest
guess,
500. We need closest
yeah,
500 people. I'm
yeah.
going,
Your
wow.
closest 500
Your
people. No,
closest
each
500 people.
person has to send to their closest 500 people.
Yes,
That's what we need. We're
that's
just
what
gonna
we
put it
want.
out there.
Yes,
Affirmations. We're putting it out there, right?
yes,
So,
definitely. Closest
all right.
500 people. If you have, again, keep the conversation positive, keep it uplifting. And again, if you have any questions, that or resources, positive resources that you want to provide us to make sure that we're helping, anybody in business, because we all know that it's tough, but anybody in business to keep them motivated and keep them going, that are good resources, please continue the conversation in
Below.
below, and we'll see you next Shared Saturday.
Next. Peace.
Peace, everybody.